Hey, everybody, welcome to How to Declutter Your Sentimental Items. So, if you don't know anything about this group or this page or this channel, wherever you're watching this, my name is Crystal Lockwood. I own Motherhood Simplified, and I teach moms how to declutter their homes and simplify their lives. And as of right now, I've worked with about 1,000 moms, and it's so common for them to come into the group to start diving into the content. And the very first thing they say, and the very first thing that they want to tackle or declutter is their sentimental stuff. Okay. I don't know why we do it. It's so common, it's so normal. But I want to start by telling you first, I'm going to give you 6 tips today. The first tip is that sentimental items should really be the last thing that you declutter. It should be the last thing that you're focusing on. And this is why. Decluttering your stuff is a series of making decisions, okay? It's going through your stuff. Sorry, the baby's sleeping in the back. Gotta go get the baby. Hold on. So you gotta get used to making decisions about your clutter. When you are decluttering, basically what you're doing is going through your home and your things and deciding, is this something that serves my family? Is this something that I want to take up my space? Is this something that I want to pay attention to? Is this something that brings value to my life? Or is it taking away? And so getting experience with that and starting to be able to discern what is purposeful, what is valuable, what is meaningful, what is serving you and what's not. And getting really good at that is going to help you as you go through your sentimental stuff. And I really recommend starting with the easiest things first, like your surfaces. We oftentimes have a lot of trash. We think it's clutter. We think it's stuff that we could use one day. It's trash. Or starting in a bathroom, starting somewhere easy so that you can get used to making these decisions and getting in touch with the things that you actually want to keep, okay? And that brings me to number 2. Tip number 2 is paying attention to what it's actually making you feel. Okay, sentimental things are things that make us feel something. Or things that we call sentimental are things that make us feel something, and it's not necessarily something good. So for me personally, everything that I tell you guys, by the way, it's just what I've done, what I do, what has worked for me, what hasn't worked. You take it or leave it, make it your own. But for me, a sentimental item should be something that makes me feel happy. It makes me feel proud of my story. It makes me feel proud of my family history. Makes me nostalgic. It makes me remember good things and happy times. So pay attention to what it's making you actually feel. It could be making you feel something and making you feel something very strongly, but that doesn't mean that it's a good thing. And especially when it comes to things like these are topics that come up in our group, in our community a lot, things from old marriages, things that we feel obligated to keep, things that we feel guilty about keeping, but we're keeping them because we think it's sentimental and that we should keep it, but it's actually making us feel really, really bad. Okay, so pay attention to what it's making you feel. Same thing when you're keeping things from like family members or friends who have died. We want to keep it to honor their memory, but if we are looking at it every day and it's not reminding of us all of the good things about them, it's just making us feel really, really sad that they're not there anymore, get rid of it. Full disclosure, I don't have much personal experience with this, but I do have my grandma and my grandpa, my grandpa is in poor health, and they are preparing for this, and they are getting rid of his things, and they are only keeping things and only giving things to us, my parents and everybody in the family, things that honor his memory and things that make us feel good and things that we can practically use, which I'll talk about in a minute. But you are not meant to keep everything, okay? The memories and the feelings and the stories are not held in the thing. They're held in your mind, okay? You can say whatever. They're held in your mind. They're held in your heart. They're held in your memories. And those things can spark memories. But for the most part, a lot of those things that you were holding on to for way too long are keeping you stuck. They're making it so that you can't enjoy where you're at right now. And they're making you feel something, but it's not necessarily a good thing. So I'm not saying go throw away all of the things, but be really discerning about it and ask yourself, is this making me feel good? Is this reminding me of the good stuff? Is it keeping their memory alive? Is it honoring their story? Okay, I'm going to talk about that a lot in just a second. Honoring the story, honoring the person, honoring the event, whatever it is, okay? And I want to tell you this too. You got to pay attention to it, because if everything is sentimental, then all of a sudden nothing is sentimental. Okay. If we're keeping everything, if we're keeping every baby outfit, if we're keeping every toy our kids have ever played with, if we're keeping every picture they've ever drawn because it's sentimental, it's taking away from the things that are actually sentimental. Okay. Not everything is meant to be kept forever. Most things really aren't even meant to be kept for that long. Okay. We're letting them overstay their welcome. So I'm not saying go through and throw it all away, but when you are keeping so much stuff, way too much clutter for sentimental reasons, all of a sudden it's really not that special. And a lot of people joke and they say things about me like they don't think I'm a sentimental person. I think that's wrong. I think it's wrong. I think I'm way more sentimental than most people, because the things that I have really are sentimental. So like our memory boxes, I love to regularly, every few months, maybe like 3 or 4 months, or maybe like twice a year. I don't know how much, honestly, I don't know the exact number, but I love to pull out like old photos of our family, our old baby clothes that I kept. I kept an outfit from each of the kids. I love pulling them out. I love looking at them. I love remembering how tiny they used to be. I love looking at the pictures of, my husband and I growing up and comparing how we look with the big kids that we have now. Reading the old notes, looking at the old artwork that the kids have made when they were younger, when they drew like little potato people. I love looking at all of that. But the things that I have are actually sentimental, and I can actually take them out and feel really good and remember our stories and look back on our memories fondly and get nostalgic, okay? And it's easy and it's fun to do, and it honors our story. So if you guys have heard me talk about my wedding dress too, a lot of times people keep their wedding dresses because they feel like they have to, okay? If your wedding dress isn't exciting to you, if it's not like, it's just a dress, like, and you feel obligated to keep it, don't keep it. But this is why I keep my wedding dress, because my wedding dress, my husband and I had a really fun marriage. Okay, wedding. We're still married, so I guess we're having a fun marriage still. But our wedding was really fun. We decided very spur of the moment that we were going to get eloped. From the day that we decided until the day that we got married, it was, I can't remember if it was 3 days or 5 days. I think we had to wait 5 days, but he was on a work trip, and wait 3 days, but he was on a work trip, so we had to actually wait 5 days. Anyway, we got married in October in Alaska, in a small town in Alaska. We had a Target, and we had a Sears, and we had a Walmart. And I was frantically trying to find a white dress that I liked in the middle of winter when they don't even sell dresses. And Amazon Prime wasn't a thing back then, or maybe it was, but we didn't have it. And anyways, Amazon Prime is in 2 days in Alaska, or it wasn't back then. So I ended up wearing a pink dress that I had from a friend's wedding that we had before, which I loved that dress. Him and I had one of the best nights ever, just dancing with each other and having a great time. And so I wore that pink dress for our surprise wedding that we didn't tell anybody about. And it's short, it's pink. It makes me really excited every time I see it. I love to put it on. I love to remember our fun, exciting, eloping story. I love remembering that night that him and I got to dance when my second was like 6 weeks old. It's just a really, really great dress. It reminds me of all of these really great things. It makes me really excited and really happy to see it. And so I keep it. So if your wedding dress doesn't make you feel like that, don't feel like you have to keep it just because it was your wedding dress. Okay. It should make you feel super strong and super positive and really, really freaking happy to see that thing. And I hang my wedding dress up in our closet with all of our other stuff so that I can see it every day. So I can remind myself of that. So I can remember that really fun time where I'm like, hey, remember when we surprised everybody and went and got married? Like, it's super fun. That's what a sentimental item should be. Okay. It shouldn't be like, oh, my friend bought this for my 24th birthday and I feel like I have to keep it because it was a gift and she's really special to me, but this thing isn't that special to me, right? So things, you don't have to feel guilty about that. We're not meant to keep things forever, and just don't feel badly about it, okay? So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3. If it's truly a sentimental item that you really love, you love to see it, you love to look at it, you love what it represents, you love the stories that it reminds you of, display it, okay? There's no reason that you should be hiding it away in a box. Display it, put it up on your wall. repurpose it or something, okay? And I've told you guys this about my grandparents, that they are getting rid of their stuff. They're divvying it out to the family. And they have some really nice artwork. They have family photos. They have all of these things. And the things that I get from them, because my grandparents and their story and the legacy that they leave are really important to me, I'm going to display it in my house some way. I'm not going to keep it in a box tucked away, forgotten about. I want to honor their story, which is number 4. Whatever is sentimental to you, when you do step 1, 2, 3, and you get to number 4, you got to honor it, okay? It's sentimental for a reason. It means something to you. It represents a time of your life that you're really proud of, or that you really love, or that you want to remember for a really long time, that you want to share with your family. So you have to honor it, okay? Your sentimental stuff is not honored by leaving it in a pile in your closet, okay? I'm not saying you have to rush out right now and honor it, make a shrine to it. No, but remember that when you are going through your clutter, is this something that you want to pay attention to? Is this something that you want to dedicate a space for? Is this something that you would be comfortable having out in the open for everybody to see all the time? Or maybe that's not the case. For us, it doesn't make sense to have a memory box. We have 3 memory boxes that are really big. We can't have that out all the time for everybody. So are you going to honor it by safely and neatly storing it to keep it protected from the elements and from a flood in your attic or something like that? Or flood in your attic, I guess that could happen. A flood in your basement or a flood in the garage where it gets ruined, okay? You want to honor it so that you can go back and look at it and you can be reminded of all of those great things, okay? Number 4, honor it and make sure it's something that you feel like is worth honoring. Number 5, if it's something, I'm going to tell you guys this story. If it's something you love, if it's something in great condition, if it's something that's beautiful, something that means a lot to you, but it's just not something that you can practically keep forever, it just doesn't make sense to keep it forever, because what are you going to do with it? Gift it to somebody. So a prime example of this is my friend Kristen, her oldest daughter is the same age as my oldest daughter. And we have babies the same age. And her oldest daughter had a banner that she hung up in her room. It's beautiful. It's very well made. It's got a lot of details. And it was kind of one of the centerpieces of her daughter's room for a really long time. And her daughter's outgrown it. It's a little babyish. It's, her daughter's getting older and it's just not what she wants in her room anymore. So that is really special to her mom and their story, but it's not something that she wants to put in a box and keep forever, because what is she going to do with it? So she gifted it to me because she knew that I had a baby. The colors are perfect. It's hanging up in the room right now. The colors are perfect for Haley's room, and she gets to pass it on to somebody else who gets to enjoy it and love it. And she doesn't have to keep it in her home, but she didn't just throw it away. She gave it to somebody. So if you have things like that are really special and really important to you, gift it to somebody, okay? Let them know, hey, this was really an important part of our home or our life, and we're ready to move on from it. And I didn't want to just give it away. I didn't want to sell it. I want to give it to you. And if they want it, go for it. If they're like, I don't want that, don't give it to them, okay? And the last tip for you, number 6, is to use it, okay? So this is another thing that happens a lot of times, is that we have sentimental items like really nice dishes or really old blankets, or, like baby blankets or stuffed animals or really old toys that are sentimental. They came from like generations of family play, or it's a baby blanket that I used when I was a baby. Don't just keep it up in a box. If it's something that has a use it, okay? And don't be afraid to use it, okay? So I'm not saying that you have to use like fancy china for every meal, but maybe like once a week, you could be like, on Fridays, we eat with the really nice dishes from grandma. Use it, okay? It's not serving a purpose, and it's not being honored by just keeping it tucked away in a box. But if it's really nice china that you're like, it's too nice to use and I don't want the kids to break it, then display it. China, a nice china display, and display it. But keeping it tucked away in a box and being like, I have to keep it because it's sentimental, isn't really honoring your story, your family story, or whatever it is for you. Okay, so those are the 6 tips. Like I said, number 1, don't worry about this stuff first. This really needs to be something that you do after you have fully decluttered. If you want help learning how to declutter, I highly recommend getting into one of my courses, either 7 Days to an Uncluttered Home, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's 7 focused areas: laundry, dishes, toys, bathroom, your car, and your surfaces. You don't have to do it in 7 days, but you get dramatic and amazing results if you do it in 7 days, and you can do it as many times as you want because you get lifetime access to the course. Like I said, I walk you through it all. It's a video, it's got written version, it's got checklists. It's like, go into your bathroom and do this, and get it done. Okay. And then, like I said, with your laundry, your dishes, your toys, all the things that are most overwhelming, start clearing out that clutter, get used to making those decisions, and then worry about the sentimental stuff. And anyway, that's number one. If you're interested in getting that, I will put the link in the comments for you. It's $44. You get access for life. It's one of my best courses ever. So number 2, pay attention to what it's really representing and what it's really making you feel, and know that you can't keep everything. If everything is sentimental, then nothing is sentimental. After you get to that point, after you do that, when you're starting to get like, yeah, okay, this is sentimental. Okay, no, this isn't sentimental. I'm just used to having it around, or I'm feeling obligated to keep it. Figure out a way to display it. Okay, figure out a way to display it, put it up in your house. Number 4, figure out a way to honor it. If you don't want to display it and you want to honor it in a different way, gift it to somebody. And if you don't want to do any of those things, then figure out a way to use it, okay? And like I said, some things are just meant to keep in a box, tucked away. Just make sure that those boxes are really only full of the things that are truly making you feel something good, truly reminding you of all of the positive things, and just making you feel good. So that's it. I hope that was helpful. And if you liked this, if you think a friend could use this, if you want to share this with somebody, like it, love it, share it, and let your friends know. Okay? Thank you.